Good day, everybody. We are the Team Under Construction. Welcome to our presentation, which is all about the principles in constructing multiple types of tests. But before that, let us first have a brief background about multiple types of tests. I am your first reporter today, Laika Mae. Let us now start. Multiple choice test. Multiple choice tests usually consist of a question or statement to which you respond by selecting the best answer from among a number of choices. Multiple choice tests typically test what you know, whether or not you understand, or the skills of comprehension, and your ability to apply what you have learned or the application. Some questions might assess your ability to analyze or evaluate information, but these kinds of questions are difficult to write, so they aren't common on multiple choice exams. So, multiple choice type of test is commonly used format in measuring students' achievements at different levels of learning. It is a form of an objective assessment in which students are asked to select only correct answers from the choices offered as a list. So it's basically trying to figure out what is the best among the rest. So there are three parts of the multiple choice test, and these are: first, the STEM. It represents the problem or question, usually expressed in completion form or question form. The second one is the keyed option or the correct answer. And third, the incorrect options or alternatives, which is also called distractors or FOIL. Let us now go to the general guidelines in constructing multiple choice tests. I will now start presenting the different general guidelines in constructing multiple choice tests. There are 13 general guidelines in constructing multiple choice tests, and the first one is: make a test item that is practical or with real-world applications to the students. So, this is because students can recognize solutions easier since they may have had experience about this or learned it from the teacher. So, it helps them identify the possible outcomes of a question faster, especially because they have met or can relate to it after, or because they are experiencing them in their daily lives. So, in addition, this is not only about how students can relate to it, but this also helps them become more prepared of the situations they may face in the community in the future. It helps them be prepared and think of a solution that can be timely relevant and may become a future circumstance or concern for everybody. The second guideline will be presented by the next reporter. You may now take the floor, Fregy Ann.
Hello everyone, this is your second reporter, Fregy Ann, Balanza, and I will be going to discuss the second guideline, which is to use diagram or drawing when asking questions about application, analysis, or evaluation. This is because when teachers use diagram or drawing, it helps students identify the process being taken, which help them remember what they had learned. Diagrams help students visualize each situation and tries to reflect to the scenes that they have been shown with. Also, it helps students to challenge their cognitive skills because they must be able to recall or make concept on what process of application, analysis, or evaluation will be the possible outcomes of the process being provided. When asked to interpret or evaluate about quotations, present actual quotations from the secondary sources like published books or newspapers. This is because these secondary resources are more reliable and weigh more than of the other opinions, which was when the original texts are rephrased or reworded because of the technology advancement. Teachers can nourish their abilities in terms of evaluating or interpreting since it makes them become more creative in terms of literacy, which they can guarantee after reading something inspirational or related educational phrases and choosing what really is fitted in the quotation you have asked to interpret or evaluate. Also, it is something important in the part of the teacher to always consider this because this is a way of giving respect to the owner of the words and give credits appropriately. which the students will also learn from you on how you cite properly. Use tables, figures, or charts when asking questions to interpret. This is because the use of these illustrations is very catchy and always are attended in something, especially if there is something we can look at with about these concepts like tables, figures, and charts. This makes every student to learn how to visualize and memorize the details in the illustration that was presented to them. It is also considered as one of the things that keeps students interested to continue reading the questions because there are a lot of students who can relate more to a test questions with the use of these illustrations and can make interpretation better and faster with just by looking at the illustration presented to them. Use pictures if possible when students are required to apply concepts and principles. As I've mentioned earlier, a lot of students can relate more when there is an illustration presented to them. So, when teachers use pictures in applying concepts and principles, it helps the students understand quickly what is process all about. This makes them have an idea on what could possibly be the answer because they will have a guide on basis in performing the process. This gives standard to the students which can really help them to come up with the best result and get the correct answer because they are able to compare them with each other, which help them identify what is missing or inappropriate in the process.
So thank you, Fregy Ann. For the next 4 guidelines, the third reporter will present it. You may now continue, Sarah.
Good day, everyone. This is your third reporter, Sarah Jane del Prado. Let us now continue. The 6th guideline is list choices vertically, not horizontally. This is because items that are ordered vertically is a lot easier on the eyes to scan rather than the items ordered horizontally. Vertical listing makes it easier for the students to compare their answers when there is a parallelism in the possible answers or addition or change of a word or cause. Next is avoid trivial questions. This is because the students will not be able to test their capabilities because the teacher have given them unnecessary questions that may cause confusion on the part of the students. On what concept are they really trying to guess and learn from your lesson? It is not a good thing to give distracting questions because it leads to haste children where children cannot develop their skills. And next, use only one correct answer or best answer format. This is because students must only be provided with one correct answer since it will create chaos on how they will deal with the question, as well as create chaos in the part of the teacher because they will not have the same answer at a time. It creates exhaustion and trouble within the part of the students on what to answer because the choices may have similarities and this is not advisable, especially in the multiple choice test. And last, use 3 to 5 options to discourage guessing. This helps students deepen their understanding and broaden their imaginations and realization because they will be given a lot of choices where they are required to analyze the question thoroughly.
Thank you, Sarah. Let us now go to the last 4 guidelines, which will be presented by Zharina. You may now step in.
Hello guys! Hello everyone! Again, this is Zharina Joy Corpuz and I am now going to present the last 4 guidelines in constructing multiple choice tests. So first, be sure that the structures are plausible and effective. This is important in the multiple choice test because it helps the students test their higher critical thinking skills since they will have elimination in the answers provided to them that makes them more observant and misunderstanding on what are the differences of every answers provided to them. The second one is increase the similarity of the options to increase difficulty of the item. This is because when similarity on the options were too interconnected, the students will take a longer time in one question because they will get confused on what might be the real answer between the 2 or maybe 3. The third one, do not use none of the above option when asking for the best answer. This is because it creates misunderstandings, especially to those who have knowledge deficiencies, which makes the item appear to have no sense at all and do not gain discriminatory power that it actually has in the case. So the last one, avoid using all of the above options, just like in the case of using none of the above option. The multiple choice test will not be able to give justice to what it really wants to impart in students. They will not be able to distinguish what was really the most appropriate and accurate answer because they are being provided with these options. Also, it discourages the students to read questions more because they will go immediately to the answers and compare it quickly without knowing and understanding the question first. Mainly, it instills students to learn laziness, especially in reading and comprehension.
So thank you for that, Zharina. In addition, Maybelle, can you have the floor?
Yes, Laika, thank you. In addition, there are some important keys that can be helpful, and these are two. We need to write the STEM first. Your question should present a single problem related to significant content from the lesson. Second, identify and write the correct answer. Make it clear and brief. Don't make the correct answer obvious in relation to the incorrect answer, and make sure you switch up the placement of the correct answer. And then, write the incorrect answers or the distractors. Common students' errors makes good. Plausible distractors. It is generally best to avoid obvious incorrect answer and try not to use all of the above or none of the above. This can be tend to make the student more nervous and think you're trying to trick them. Plausible distractors for the previous speed example could be found by plugging the numbers in the wrong place in the formula or simply changing an important factor of the answer.
So, multiple choice items are flexible in measuring all levels of cognitive skills. It permits a wide sampling of content and objectives, provide highly reliable test scores, and reduced guessing factor compared with the true or false items, and can be machine scored quickly and accurately. Again, multiple choice items are difficult and time-consuming to construct, but it depends on the students' reading skills and the instructor's writing ability. The simplicity of writing low-level knowledge items leads instructors to neglect writing items to test higher-level thinking skills. So, it is important that teachers must be provided by the guidelines or by the 13 general guidelines which will help them to improve their writing skills when it comes to instructing multiple type of tests. So, that is all for our report, and we do hope that you have learned something. Thank you, everyone!